Alright guys, welcome back to Max Boneyard Builds. Okay, so a few weeks ago, had an evening free, and we cleaned up the OBS harness. We got everything labeled that we needed. We thinned it out as to how lt1swap.com, fabulous site. If you're doing any sort of an LS swap, I suggest you check out that site. Tons of information on there. Now, what we're going to do is I am going to jump on this LS that's sitting here. I'm going to pull it out away from the wall. I'm going to set you guys up. I'm going to start going through the harness that's on here, labeling everything. I'm not a master mechanic by any means. I can take a look at a sensor plug and have an idea of what it is, but the last thing I want to do is get rid of something in a brain fart moment that I need. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do, go through here real slow, real tedious, just like we did with the OBS harness. And we are going to label everything real quick. It only takes 2 seconds. Then we're going to start pulling everything off of the motor, get the motor all exposed, get it cleaned up, get the manifolds off, get everything all ready to go. And then that way we can get the motor plugged into the OBS, get the harness thinned out, get it married together with the OBS harness, and then we can start making some progress. What do you say? Alright guys, so first thing you got to do is you just got to start getting rid of all the non-essentials. One of which is going to be our old seat belt that we used, or I guess that the Speedway Salvage used, rather, to get this baby out of the truck. Man, I'm telling you, the old seatbelt trick. If you don't know the seatbelt trick, it is worth its weight in gold in a junkyard. Anyways, on another note, man, 70 degrees here in the Midwest. Holy cow, this thing's supposed to be a record. I may have spent a little time this morning taking that blue one out. And of course, had a couple shorts on there. She sat for 2 months and 2 days. Popped right off. No questions asked. No questions asked. Didn't even hesitate. So what you're going to want to do is you want to lay this harness out just how it would be in the car, okay? Or in the truck, rather, I guess it'd be. You want everything to lay out exactly how it would be. That way you know exactly where everything is. Stretching everything out. Make sure everything's still connected that needs to be connected. Connected. Fuel lines. There we go. Oh, that's where it's supposed to be. I'm going to come over here. This guy gets thrown back here, this way. Back here. That looks like There's your AC. This comes back up. There's your heater lines. I see, like this plug here, this looks like your mass air. That's going to be over in this ballpark here. Not quite sure what this guy is. Where these guys come in at. You got your crank, you got your oil level down there. And see this guy down here. See, that's your O2 sensor here, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Yeah, so that's your O2 sensor there. And that's going to be your rear O2 here. I don't know. I don't know where these guys go. Not quite sure. Anyways, but you're going to get this baby stretched out. Something like that. Now, come back through here, just like we did with the OBS. Grab yourself some tape. Whenever you take one of these off, and remember, all of these babies are super fragile. Take your time. You cannot be in a hurry whenever you're taking one of these harnesses off. It's done tons of heat cycles and stuff, guys. Remember, this thing's like 20 years old. It still works. It's still good. We saw it running in the yard. Take it off. Label it AC, so that way I know that's something that I want to keep. You're going to come back up here. Let's find another one. Let's see, coil. So like in this instance, whenever I'm going to take all these individual coil packs off, and all of these are your injectors up here. Boom, 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 boom. Here's all your coils. Here's your main coil feed, okay? So I'm going to take both of these like this. Give myself a nice big tag so I can put the two together. Something like this. And I'm going to label this one pass, passenger side coils, and injectors. And that is a horrible J. Get him, shop dog. So here we go. So now I got this tag. So once I get all of these disconnected, this tag's going to tell me that everything in this direction is all my coils and injectors on the passenger side. That'll save me time. I'm not going to go through every single one of these because they're not going to change. Okay? So anyways, I'm going to set you guys up a little bit of a time lapse. I'm not going to bore you guys with sitting here the whole time, you know, slowly but surely labeling all these babies. Another little trick of the trade, get yourself a pick. And if you get one of these that, man, you know, just to be on the safe side, instead of getting your big old booger hook in here, get this itty bitty pick to grab that tab to where you get more control to just barely lift it up as you're giving it a tug. And I have had better luck of not breaking those tabs off whenever I'm lifting with a pick than what I am with my finger. I don't know why. Watch, it ain't gonna come off. Boop. Yeah, came off better with my finger that time. Anyways, if it's something you can't get into, grab yourself a pick. Always keep a pick around handy. Okay? But I'm gonna get all these babies labeled up. Set you guys up on a time lapse, that way I can turn on some tunes and I'm not boring you, and I'll get back with you once this harness is off of the motor. Okay guys, that tedious task is done. I'm going to run through these sensors and the plugs real quick, in case you guys don't know what to label them, or in case you hear guys saying a map or something and you not know what the heck a map is, you know what I mean? So all these guys, GM makes a couple different styles. Winston, good lord, that freaking dog. Anyways, they make several different injector plugs. But these are all your injectors here. These are going to be these guys. They're going to be tucked in back inside these. These are your fuel rails. These are your fuel injectors down inside here. Okay, they're a little tricky to get off. Make sure to take your time because there's this retainer on here. So make sure the retainer's got to come out first before you can hit this plug that's down in here. I got a light. Hopefully you guys can see. And then let's go up top. This is going to be your map sensor, manifold air pressure is what that is. That's going to be here on the back of the intake, right here. Your knock sensor on these Gen 3s and that, or up here on the back, or the driver's side on the back, I guess you could call it. The wire runs down underneath the manifold. That's where your knock sensors are. That's going to be plugged in here, and then it's also going to be clipped on top of the manifold here, okay? And then these are your coil packs. Those are kind of self-explanatory. And then you've got running around here, over here on the side of the head, in front of the exhaust manifold, you got your temperature sensor. Make sure you label that one. Keep that one. Down here on the bottom, on the block, it was right here. You've got ground that's inside the harness, and there was also the battery ground went here too. Always put your bolts and stuff back, guys. That way you don't lose track of them, okay? And then running around to the front, we've got alternator. We've got idle air control. They call it IAC. Then this one here measures your blade on your throttle, which would be your TPS, or throttle position sensor. On the top, you've got your evap purge. I'm going to try and keep it as mission friendly as I can. It's a 98, so I'm going to be getting tested. So I'm going to try and keep that going. So a lot of guys delete this on the C10. I deleted this one as well and just put a plug down here. But I'm going to try and get this one going. I may have to take it out of the tune and do what I have to do there. We'll see. Running down here, you got your two ACs. We've already got those labeled. The harness comes underneath here. There's a bunch of little retainers. Over on this side, you've got all the same as before. You've got all your injectors and your coils and all of that. If you're going to rework your harness and you're going to stick this thing going through the firewall or something, I'm planning on leaving mine on the driver's side just like the factory. So the harness is going to lay down the same for me. If you're going to rework the harness completely, take the extra time, label all of these injectors, label your passenger side coils, whatever, so that way stupid doesn't happen. You know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is have the wrong injector on the wrong one, and then she's not going to run worth a hoot. Oh, look, I didn't label them. I'll label these. This is your cam position sensor down here on the back of the block. This is your oil pressure sensor. I didn't label those. Got to do that. Also missed a ground. There's a ground here, and there's two grounds on the back of the block. There's another one over on the passenger side, which I labeled that one. I got that one off. Ground, block, passenger side by the head. I mean, keep it simple, stupid. Label it how you want to label it. Put your bolt back in. And then there's another ground here. You can see there's a body strap too. So I'm probably going to label this driver's side, block, ground, with body strap, or something along those lines. So that way I know that I'm putting everything back together the way I'm supposed to. Okay. Running down the harness, this guy here. Oh man, trying to squeeze in, guys. Oh, get out of here. This is the large power wire that goes to the back of the starter. That's what this guy is here. But then you also have the oil level. That's what this sensor is here. on your Chevy trucks and Silverados and stuff, if you get too low on oil, it'll sense it and it'll say low oil level come up. So that's what this one is here. That one's great to have a pick. This is completely surrounded, but there's a little gap. Getting your pick in there to pull this one out without breaking it, highly suggest using that. This one here, this is your crank sensor, which is located behind the starter. The starter's off right now. It's back here behind the starter. So if your starter's still on your motor, you might be like, man, where is this wire going? You can take the starter out or you can get back here to it. But this is your crank sensor. This is what tells the PCM, hey, this motor's moving. Let's start giving it fuel and stuff. And this is the starter wire that goes with this one. Then you got your O2s and stuff on this leg that comes down. And then you got your mass air. It's going to run up over here. Over here. That's what this one is. And then on this side, I forgot to mention, I walked past it. On this leg, you also have your other O2 sensors. These two guys by themselves. These are your trans plugs. You can see they heated it up to get them off. They melted them a little bit. Hopefully they still hold on. I may have to add some new plugs on here or something. But see, they had to do the same thing so they didn't destroy the plugs. They heated them up just like we did in the other video. So those are your trans plugs for your park, reverse, neutral drive indicator, reverse lights, all that fun stuff. And then run down here. These two guys are your transmission plugs. You got to save these. Your round one is your transmission plug, and so is this one. This is your VSS, your vehicle speed sensor. I just tied those two together, labeled it as trans, that way I knew to keep it. And then this guy back here is a rear O2. I labeled it as well, but that one's going to be going bye-bye. So now I've got everything labeled, minus oil pressure and that. I'm going to do that real quick. And then I'm going to slowly peel this harness off so that way we can see the motor. You're also going to have to take off this plate that's on the top. There's a plate on top. That holds down the engine cover. Put your bolts back, guys. That way you don't lose them. Got that out of the way. And then after that, I'll be able to peel this off, and then we'll actually see the motor underneath all of this wiring. All right, guys. There it is. So now we got that wiring harness completely off. So now we can get down to cleaning this motor up, making it look much more presentable than what it is. I'm going to get the oil cooler lines off. I'm going to get the coil packs off. I'm going to get the exhaust manifolds off. I'm sure we're going to break a stud, so we're going to have to show you a trick on how to get those out. We're just going to clean it up. Going to clean it up. Going to get the fan off, get the belt off, AC compressor off, old motor mounts off. I think I already said that. Anyways, we're going to get everything off that we can. Clean it up. We're not breaking the motor completely down or nothing. This thing ran great, sound great. There's no catastrophic oil leaks or anything going on. Once we get it all cleaned up, get it plucked in the OBS, get it running and stuff. If a valve cover or something's leaking horribly, I mean, a lot of this is buildup and road grime and 180,000 miles sitting in an engine compartment. I'm telling you, yeah, I'm sure it's got a valve cover leak or something like that. I'm not regasketing the whole motor, Budget build, you know me. I am on a budget. Everything's on a budget. So I'm going nice and cheap at first, and then whatever needs to be fixed along the way, it's going to get fixed along the way. Okay? So, like I said, let's start getting this stuff tore off. Let's start seeing what we got underneath all this. Okay, guys, here on the manifolds, as you can see, that little guy right there is already broke off. Didn't even start on it yet. But we're going to try and start plucking these out. What you want to do is don't just grab one and just start bam hammering on it. You're going to break it off. No questions asked. What you want to do, this one's already broke off, so some of the tension's already gone here. So let's move over here to this one. What you want to do to try and save these suckers is you want to just barely crack it to the left, switch it back around, go back into the right. Switch it back around, go back to the left, and back to the right. What you're trying to do is just work that bolt back and forth, being gentle with it, till eventually, hopefully, it's loosened itself up and it'll start coming out without breaking off. I broke that tension on it several times, back and forth, got a lot of it off of there, and as you see, it's coming right out. I'll keep trying it on all the other ones the same way, right, left, and then hopefully we will not have to remove too many studs. Alright guys, so got the exhaust manifolds off, we've got the old motor mounts off, we got 2 broken bolts, both of them on the very back. That one was broken prior to me touching them, just saying, not my fault. 2, 4, 5, all came out perfect, slow and steady, right, left, keep moving that tension back and forth, alternate your bolts all around. This side, I did the exact same thing, 2, 4, 5, back one broke on me. That one is my fault. It broke inside the head, so we're going to have to pull that one off as well. Motor mounts out of the way. I'm going to pull the O2 sensors and stuff off of those because those plugs fit my harness, but the O2 sensors will fit into any new tubing I get, so those are going to get saved. Motor mounts, those are getting trashed. We're going to go with a set of knockoff Dirty Dingos for this build. That way we can slide the motor back and forth if we need to, make it just perfect so we can keep the same drive shaft. Got that old oil cooler out of the way for the power steering. That's gone. Next I'm going to get rid of this fan, make it a little easier. Well, I still got the belt on here, that way I've still got tension. Remember guys, what you got to do, get yourself a big old wrench. I like the adjustable flavors of the big ones because I don't like spending money. Give it one good crack with a hammer. I used a dead blow there so it wasn't super loud. Then all you got to do, give it a spin, comes right off. Don't be scared about those. And then this thing is pretty much broken down. Check that out. We can actually see what is going on as far as what needs cleaned and everything else. Going to get the steam port line out of the way. I'm going to get this AC compressor out of here. This low mount, it's not going to work with those dingoes, so it's gone. Which we're going to get rid of this belt, which is really sad. Holy cow, I'm surprised that thing was holding on. Yeah, this serpentine doesn't look good, or doesn't look bad. But man, that AC belt, holy cow, I'm surprised that thing was still surviving. Yeah, this looks really good. Another thing we don't have to buy. So, going to get the belt off, and then after that, I'm going to get the AC compressor. I'm going to get it gone, and then might stop for today. I don't know. We will see. But then we're going to get a wire wheel, clean this baby up, get all the grease off the heads and everything. I'm going to show you guys a super cool trick on painting, and you guys are going to be super surprised on painting. I'm telling you, I blow everybody's minds with these little tricks that I learned. But we're going to get everything painted up, going to get everything degreased, looking good. Ain't going to be perfect. You know, this thing ran great, had great oil pressure and stuff. I'm not breaking this thing completely down. I don't see the point in it, you know, for a good running motor, for just, you know, a drivable truck. I'm not looking for a show truck. I'm not looking for, you know, any show winner or anything crazy like that. I just want this thing to look good, guys. So, let me see if there's a few more things I take off or whatever. Otherwise, this might be about it for now. Okay guys, also in this video I guess I'll go ahead and show the fuel lines too. The salvage yard, they just chopped the hard lines, left these babies dangling. We're going to go ahead and get rid of those too. There's a retainer on top of here. All you got to do is lift up like so. This comes right off, okay? Once that's off, inside here there is a full circle of teeth, like 3 or 4 different teeth that will all sit on top of a flange, okay? You're not going to be able to get that thing off. You can try and pick it off with screwdrivers and stuff, and it's just going to drive you absolutely insane. A tool you're going to need is a fuel line or a quick disconnect or fuel line disconnect tool. Guys, it's like $8 or $10 or something like that at any auto parts store. You know, run down to O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whoever, grab one. This one's by OEM Tools. Seriously, it cost me next to nothing. Makes your life so much easier. Something to always keep in your junkyard toolbox. What it does, all you got to do is you just clamp on top of your fuel line like so, and then on this side it's making a full circle all the way around. So that way, whenever you push your fuel line forward and you pull this backwards, it's getting all those teeth. It's grabbing a hold of all those teeth. So that way, you should be able to pull it out. Okay. What would take you forever in an afternoon to try and hold all 4, looks like there's 4 of them in there, all 4 of these tabs at the exact same time to get this disconnect off, you did in like 2 seconds with this tool. Spend the $10, keep it in your toolbox. It's a tool, guys. It's never going to break. It's never going to go bad as long as you don't do something really stupid with it. And that way you can get your fuel lines off. And we'll run some ANs on there, and we'll be good to go. Okay, fuel lines are out of the way. Like I said, everything else is cleaned up. Man, look at this thing. What you find, you got all your little mud dauber nests. I mean, I think we got a freaking rat turd up there. I don't know what that is. I'm telling you, this thing looks good. There is no big, scary oh my gods that I've came across. Everything looks good that I can see. Keep that plugged in, nothing falls in there. Man, I'm telling you, everything looks good that I've came across so far. Like I said, nothing's jumped out at me and really scared me. Everything looks good. Kind of repeating myself, I don't know. But that's it. That is the breakdown of all your wiring harness and your manifolds and all the things. We're gonna get those bolts extracted. I want to show, there it is. I want to show you guys how to get those bolts out. I'm going to make a whole separate video on that because a lot of guys break those manifold bolts, and that's what they're going to be searching for, is how to remove manifold bolts. So I'm going to use that on a separate video. Look, it's just like full-size sticks. How is that even possible? But we're going to get this thing cleaned up, and man, it's going to be in that OBS before you know it. Alright, so there we go, guys. All it took was, what, an hour and a half, something like that. And that's with filming, which always takes a little bit longer. But now the motor's all stripped down. Now you can see everything. We're going to get the belts off. We're going to get probably pull the alternator and a few things to make sure we can get inside there, get everything cleaned up real good. The wiring harness is off. It's labeled. That way you know where everything's at. Got the manifolds and stuff off, so now we can get to the block. We're going to hit that with a wire wheel, get it painted up and everything. We're going to do that on a different episode, cleaning up the motor. Guess you could call this one LS wiring harness removal preparation. I don't know. Something. You'll figure it out. I want to thank you guys stopping by Max Boneyard Builds. As always, all of my subscribers, you guys are phenomenal. Everybody shooting me comments, especially on my older videos. I try and answer as many as I can all the time. I appreciate it. I love good conversation. I hope you guys stick around. This OBS build, I'm trying to kick it in high gear. Weather finally broke, so I'm planning on being out here in the garage a little bit more. You guys keep sticking around for the build. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, you got it. You send it my way, and I will see you next time on Max Boneyard Builds.